Now let's bring in documentary filmmaker and commentator Ami Horowitz. Ami, a lip reader engaged by the New York Post has deciphered what really occurred during that exchange between Joe Biden and Barack Obama at Ethel Kennedy's funeral. While caught on camera, the conversation was drowned out by the organ music, but professional lip reader Jeremy Freeman, who's got 16 years of experience, thinks this is what was said. "She's not as strong as me," said Biden. And then Obama replies, "I know, that's true. We have time." And then Biden comes back with, "Yeah, we'll get it in time." What do you think about all that, Ami? Are they right? Do they have time?
Yeah, the New York Post doesn't have to hire a lip reader to hear me say this. No, they do not have time. Look, there's 2 weeks left in the election, and they are down badly. All the momentum is moving toward Trump. He is literally the RC people. Look, I'm a maniac. I'm a lunatic. I check the polls every morning and a couple times a day. He's down in every single swing state. Every single one. Count them, all 7. Look, they just said the quiet part quietly. She is a terrible candidate and terrible at everything else. This is why she's down. And by the way, Liz Cheney is not going to save your election. Look, the word Schadenfreude, okay, this is a German word. Schaden, which means harm and damage, and Freud, which means joy. Literally taking comfort and joy in the harm of others. That word was literally created to define the state of Joe Biden's being right now. He is living Schadenfreude, okay? I mean, look, Brutus and Cassius have nothing on how Kamala and the Democratic Party did Uncle Joe dirty, right? He is going to reach out from beyond the grave with the ultimate "I told you so" and a middle finger to the entire Democratic Party. You screwed me over, and look what happened. This is what's going down. Look, they even have, there obviously is damage control going on now, and a member of the Obama administration responding to the New York Post said, "That doesn't sound like Joe Biden." Really? It doesn't? Oh yeah, it does. The pettiness is awesome. I love it.
Oh, absolutely. It sounds like Joe Biden. Just have a look at his form. He's from the early days, he's been bragging about himself. Remember when he was bragging about what great marks he was getting at university? He was lying about all that, but he was bragging nonetheless. Now, the Democrats do have an enormous advantage. They've got the bulk of the mainstream media. They've got pretty much most of the popular culture, from Hollywood to music industry to fashion, the whole lot. The polls are tight despite the Democrats having all that and also outspending the Trump campaign. Kamala spent $270 million in September compared to Trump's $78 million. I don't think enough is said about this disparity in the spending, Army. If Trump had anywhere near the money the Democrats have to spend on his campaign, it would be all over. He could be winning New York.
Yeah, this election would not be as close as it is. Trump would actually be running away with this election if he was just doing basic election blocking and tackling. He simply isn't. That's just the reality of the situation. Look, Kamala Harris is running a very traditional ground campaign, okay? Right? They have 4 times the amount of staffers than Trump does, okay? That's a massive number and a massive advantage.
Wow.
Trump is running a cult of personality campaign. Now, he thinks he's winning because of that. That's not actually true. He's winning because he happens to be on the right side of all the issues. He was winning because we had 4 years of a horrible presidency by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Look, he ran a cult of personality campaign 4 years ago. He lost, okay? Look, his unconventional preparation for the debate, which means he didn't prepare for it, he lost the debate. He's winning because he happens to be on the right side of all these issues, and the momentum is on his side. That's the problem. He has not been spending the time and money. Look, she has raised billions from small donors. She's spending time raising money. He's spending time and money on his legal affairs. This is a huge disadvantage for him. But ultimately, he's going to win because everything is flowing in his direction, and he is coming after an incumbent that nobody likes.
Well, you just casually announced it there. It's all over. He's going to win. But that's part of the lawfare, wasn't it? The lawfare was designed not just to further blacken his name in the eyes of the American public, to have him as a convicted felon, but also to distract him, to have him focused elsewhere, spending money elsewhere instead of campaigning.
No question about, look, and by the way, to be clear, I called this election last week. I didn't call it this week. I already called it last week. No, he is going to win.
Forgot about that.
That is actually part of their strategy. No question about it. And to a certain extent, it's working.
It is, absolutely. Now, President Joe Biden has once again ignored his own advice. Remember, he said this following the first assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
Fellow Americans, I want to speak to you tonight about the need for us to lower the temperature in our politics.
But now he's at it again. He claims that Trump is so dangerous that he ought to be locked up.
Thinks he has a right under the Supreme Court ruling on immunity to be able, if need be, if it was the case, to actually physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him. I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up. Politically lock him up.
Oh dear, he tried to rectify some of the damage there and say lock him up politically, but please, he just claimed right there, Ami, that Trump wants to shoot and kill people. It's just an extraordinary way for the Democrats to tackle this campaign. They have not stopped that reckless rhetoric against Trump one iota. They continue to call him a threat to democracy, likening him to the likes to Hitler.
They're doing it all the live long day, Rita. No, there was an assassination attempt. And of course, everyone said, let's lower the temperature. Let's reduce the rhetoric. But you know what? The next day, he was on television doing all the threat to democracy garbage. The next day. Then there was a second assassination attempt. You think anything changed? No, he's still a fascist, still a threat to our way of life, right? Still comparing him to Hitler and Mao and Mussolini. These are all the comparisons they're making. And of course, this comports with him saying, let's lock them up. Look, the Save Democracy crowd, right? This is the Democratic Party. These are people who've been trying to subvert democracy in both deed and in word, right? They have, let's not forget the lock it up stuff. They've been using lawfare, like we talked about, to try to get him off his game on the campaign. Did we forget they try to get him off of the ballots? They try to take Trump off of the ballots in different states. This is democracy. This is the Save Democracy crowd. Their rhetoric has included calling the Supreme Court illegitimate. They have called for the taking down the Electoral College. These are people who are saying, hey, in my city, New York, let's have non-citizens vote. You tell me who is pro-democracy, who is anti-democracy. This is crazy. Am I taking crazy pills? What's going on?
No, you're 100% right. And don't forget installing Kamala Harris, invalidating 14 million votes. Biden actually went through a process. He was supposed to be the nominee, and suddenly we've got someone who nobody appeared to vote for who's now their candidate. And again, they talk about norms and threats to democracy. Ami Horowitz, thank you so much for your time this evening.